The marriage between you and Jungkook had never begun with love. It was a contract, a family decision forced upon him. And you knew well that his heart already belonged to someone else, his childhood best friend. From the very start, Jungkook made his boundaries clear. He never raised his voice at you, never insulted you, never crossed the line of respect. Instead, he cared for you in a distant, almost mechanical way. The bills were paid on time, the house was always secure, the maids followed every instruction he gave to ensure your comfort. But love, affection, tenderness, those were absent. At the dining table, silence was your constant companion. He sat across from you, sleeves rolled neatly to his elbows, his attention fixed on documents glowing on his tablet screen. You would push food around your plate, trying not to let the emptiness suffocate you. Finally, he would glance up briefly, his tone calm but detached. The driver will take you to your checkup tomorrow. Don't go alone. It's just a routine visit. I can handle it myself. That's not the point. I don't want you walking around without someone watching your back. He said it as though you were a responsibility he couldn't afford to neglect, not a wife he cherished. You nodded quietly, masking the sting in your chest. The ache wasn't only emotional, it was physical. Behind the polite smiles and lowered eyes, you were fighting a secret battle, pulmonary fibrosis. A cruel disease that slowly tightened its grip on your lungs, leaving you breathless, dizzy, and weak. But you hide it every single day. When the coughing fits came late at night, you pressed a cloth against your lips, trembling as the red stains bloomed across the fabric. The moment the fit ended, you would hurry to wash it, scrubbing until your hands went raw. Chungu would never know. You told yourself he wouldn't care, that if he discovered the truth, it would only confirm what you feared the most, that you were nothing more than a burden. Yet, there were fleeting moments that made your heart falter. A coat draped over the back of your chair when you shivered, a steaming cup of tea set beside you when you had dozed off at your desk. He never spoke of those gestures, never explained them, and you never asked. Because in your heart, you knew they were not acts of love, they were acts of duty. It was late one night when the silence of the mansion was broken by muffled voices. You had gone downstairs to get some water, but as you passed Shungkuk's study, the half open door stopped you in your tracks. You froze, his voice low, steady, but carrying a weight that made your heart pound slipped through the gap. So, Yon, I didn't choose this. She's just a burden. I only married her because I had no choice. Your breath caught for a moment. You thought you had misheard, but then Soyon's soft laugh floated out. I told you, Jungkook, you never belonged with her. It should have been us from the beginning. Your fingers trembled around the glass in your hand. Every syllable carved itself into your chest like a plate. A burden, that was what you were to him. An obligation, a chain around his neck. You pressed your lips together, forcing back the burning tears that threatened to spill. Your lungs tightened, the familiar ache flaring as if your body itself was responding to the cruelty of his words. You covered your mouth, stifling the cough that rose, terrified they might hear you. Slowly, you backed away, retreating into the shadows of the hallway. By the time you reached your room, your hands were shaking so violently you could barely turn the doorknob. You locked yourself inside, sinking onto the edge of the bed, staring blankly into the dark. That night, something inside you broke. The next morning, when Jungkook addressed you at breakfast, your response was clipped, your tone cold. You didn't sleep well, your eyes are swollen. Why should it matter to you? His brow frowned slightly at your sharpness, but he said nothing more, simply folding his newspaper and finishing his coffee in silence. From that day onward, you changed. You stopped waiting for his small gestures. You stopped looking for warmth in his eyes. You learned to mimic his indifference, giving him the same distance he had always shown you. And when your illness grew worse, the dizzy spells, the painful coughing fits, you hide it all. Because if he already thought you were a burden, you would not give him the satisfaction of being proven right. The evening felt heavier than usual. The air in the living room was thick, quiet, except for the faint hum of the chandelier above. You had been alone for hours, curled on the sofa with a book you couldn't focus on. Every breath burned in your lungs, each cough cutting deeper than the last. You pressed a trembling hand to your chest, trying to steady yourself. Not now, you thought. Please, not now. But your vision blurred, black spots dancing before your eyes. A violent cough ripped through you, and this time you couldn't stifle it. Blood splattered across your palm and the white fabric of your dress. The sound of footsteps echoed from the hallway. Before you could compose yourself, Jungkook appeared in the doorway, phone still in hand, his usual stoic expression melting into something you had never seen on his face before fear. Wine? He crossed the room in three long strides, kneeling in front of you as you slumped sideways on the sofa. His hands hovered, hesitant but desperate. You're bleeding, damn it, look at me. Wine, what's going on? You forced yourself upright, weak but fueled by anger and heartbreak. Tears burned your eyes, but your voice came out sharp, raw. Why do you care? Am I not just a burden to you? Go to her, Jungkook. Isn't that what you want? Your words cut through the room like glass shattering. For a moment, he froze, his jaw tightening as if you had struck him. The flicker of panic in his eyes hardened into something unbearable. Hurt, guilt, maybe even shame. That's not wine. Stop talking like that. Don't act like you care now. You made it clear who you want. You made it clear who I am to you. You turned your face away, coughing into a trembling fist, blood staining your skin. Chunguk stood slowly, hands falling to his sides. For the first time since you had known him, his mask cracked. He looked torn like a man caught between running toward you and running from himself. Without another word, he straightened his suit jacket, his voice low but tight. Fine, if that's how you see it. He walked out, the slam of the door echoing through the hollow mansion. You collapsed back onto the sofa, just having tears streaming silently down your cheeks. And though he had left, a flicker of guilt had already begun gnawing at him. Even as he sat in his car outside the house, gripping the steering wheel hard enough for his knuckles to whiten. The night stretched long after Jungkook left, but it wasn't long before your body gave in again. Another fit of coughing racked your chest, more violent than before, until your vein blurred and your knees buckled. This time you didn't have the strength to fight it. You collapsed onto the floor of your room, blood staining the marble beneath you. The maid's horrified scream echoed through the halls, followed by frantic footsteps. Within minutes, you were lifted into a car and rushed to the hospital. Your body limp, breathed shallow. Meanwhile, Jungkook sat in his office trying to bury himself in contracts and figures, but your voice, sharp, painted, kept replaying in his head. Am I not just a burden to you? Go to her, Jungkook. He gripped his pen so tightly it snapped, ink spilling across the paper. Then his phone rang. Sir, madam, she fainted. She's not waking up. We are at the hospital now. Jungkook shot to his feet, the blood draining from his face. Which hospital? Tell me now. The moment he got the name, he bolted. His car screeched against the pavement as he sped through the streets. Every red light ignored, every thought consumed by the image of you on the floor, coughing blood. His cold mask had shattered, fear gripped him like a vice, and for the first time he realized how fragile you truly were. By the time he stormed into the hospital, breathless and frantic, the doctor was already wheeling you into the operating room. What's happening? What's wrong with her? Please, sir, wait outside. We need to stabilize her. The door swung shut, leaving him staring at the sterile white walls, his chest rising and falling with panic. He faced the corridor endlessly, every second stretching into eternity. Hours later, when the surgery finally ended, a nurse approached. She's stable for now. You may see her. Jungkook stepped inside quietly. You lay pale against the hospital bed, oxygen mask in place, ivy lines running down your arms. The sight of you so fragile sent a sharp ache through his chest. He pulled a chair beside you, his hand hesitating before reaching toward yours. But the moment your eyes fluttered open, you pulled back slightly, your gaze sharp despite your weakness. Don't act like you care now. Jungkook froze, his throat tightening. I don't need your sympathy, Jungkook. I'll handle this alone. He leaned forward, his voice strained, almost pleading. Wine, don't say that. You almost died. Then what? Would you finally be free of your burden? Your words struck deeper than any knife. Jungkook's lips parted, but no sound came. He sat there staring at you, realizing he could no longer hide behind his walls. But you turned your face away, refusing to meet his eyes. The space between you had never felt so wide, and this time you were not waiting for him to close it. From the moment you were admitted, Jungkook never left the hospital. The man who once lived inside boardrooms and conference calls now sat in sterile white hallways. His suit jacket discarded over a chair, his tie loosened, his hair disheveled from running his hands through it too many times. His phone buzzed relentlessly with calls from executives, partners, even his own father. One by one, he silenced them. Sir, the investors are waiting. Should I cancel everything? I'm not leaving. His voice was sharper than usual, but it trembled in a way no one had ever heard before. Every hour, he cornered the doctors, demanding answers. How is she? Is she in pain? What are you doing to help her? We are doing everything we can, but her condition is critical. Those words echoed in his mind like a death sentence critical, fragile, weak. Words that stripped away his carefully built coldness. When you opened your eyes again the next day, the room wasn't empty. Your mother sat on one side of the bed gently stroking your hair, her eyes red from crying. On the other side, your older brother, Minjae, stood tall, arms crossed, his sharp gaze fixed on Jungkook, who was lingering near the corner of the room like an intruder. My poor child, why didn't you tell me? Why did you suffer in silence? You weakly smiled, squeezing her hand. You didn't have the heat to tell her the truth, that you hide it because you never wanted to be pitied. Jungkook, unable to hold back, stuck closer, his voice tight. Wine, you can't keep pushing me away like this. I'm your husband, you need me. Before he could respond, Minji's voice cut through the room, cold and sharp as steel. Husband, he scoffed, taking a step forward, a husband who calls his wife a burden behind her back. Don't you dare stand here and pretend you care. Jungkook's jaw tightened. It's not that simple. No, Jungkook, it's very simple. You didn't treat her well. You ignored her, left her alone, made her believe she was nothing but an obligation. And now, when she is laying here hooked to oxygen, suddenly you want to play the role of a caring husband? Your mother's eyes filled with tears as she turned to Jungkook. I trusted you with my daughter. She bore everything in silence because she didn't want to burden us. And you let her break. Jungkook's composure faltered. For once, he had no calculated response, no mask to hide behind. He looked at you, desperation in his eyes. Wine, please, I made mistakes, but I. Minji cut him off again, his voice rising. Don't beg her now. Where was this concern when she cried herself to sleep in that empty house? Where was this fear when she was coughing blood alone? Too scared to tell anyone? You respected her boundaries, fine. You provided her with security, fine. But what about her heart, Jungkook? Did you ever once give a damn about that? The room fell silent, the tension thick. You turned your face toward the window, unwilling to look at him. Your chest aching, not just from your illness, but from the storm swirling inside you. Your voice came out low, steady, but laced with bitterness. They're right. You don't get to stand here and demand my forgiveness. You don't get to act like you care now that it's convenient. Chunguk's throat popped, his fists clenching at his sides. I'm not leaving you, wine not again. Minjay gave a mocking laugh, shaking his head. We will see, but let me make one thing clear. Chungkook, if my sister suffers again because of you, I won't stay silent a second time. The warning hung heavy in the air. Chungkook didn't argue, didn't fight back. For the first time, he simply bowed his head, guilt swallowing him whole. When you were finally discharged, your mother and brother Minjae came to take you home. Chungkook stood at the hospital entrance, desperation carved into his face as he walked slowly toward the car. Wine, please don't leave me like this. I'll change, I swear. I don't want anyone else, only you. You stopped, meeting his gaze with eyes heavy from both illness and betrayal. It's too late, Jungkook. Love born from guilt isn't love at all. You hide me, but you choose to make me feel like nothing. I don't need your sympathy now, I need peace. Minji immediately stepped in front of you, his tone sharp, protective. I kept quiet for so long, Jungkook. I watched my sister endure your coldness, your distance, and still she said nothing. But now, seeing her like this, don't you dare say you cared for her. If this is how you took care of her, then I would hate to see what neglect looks like. Jungkook flinched, his lips parting, but no words coming out. His chest rose and fell with unspoken regret. Your mother slipped her arm around you, guiding you gently toward the car. Jungkook's voice cracked as he called your name again. Wine, please don't go. You didn't look back. The car door closed, the engine roared to life, and Jungkook stood frozen on the pavement, watching the women he had finally learned to love drive away. Slipping through his fingers not because of death, but because of his own choices, the mansion was silent when you stepped inside, the air heavy with the kind of emptiness that made even your footsteps echo. You were not here for memories, you were here for closure. A week had passed since your discharge, and your mother had Minjay had insisted on helping you gather your things, but you chose to come alone. You needed to face this house and him one last time. As you pushed open the door to your old bedroom, you froze. Jungkook stood there, half unbuttoned shirt hanging loosely, tie discarded on the floor. A glass of whiskey jangled from his hand, the scent of a gold strong in the air. He didn't notice you, too lost in the framed photograph of you resting on the dresser. You are not a burden. You never were. I was blind. Please forgive me, love. I'm yours, only yours. Without you, this house is a grave. Your breath caught his shoulders shook as he set the glass down, dragging a trembling hand across his face. I built empires, made men kneel, but the only person I wanted to keep, I destroyed with my own hands. He couldn't move. He was a man, unrecognizable. June Chungkup, the feared, untouchable, now unraveling before a portrait. The soft sound of your gasp gave you away. He stiffened, turned, and when his eyes found yours, they widened. Wine, the glass slipped from his hand, shattering against the floor. But he didn't care. He staggered toward you, eyes red, desperation etched into every line of his face. Please don't leave me like this. I'll do anything. I'll tear down every wall I built. Just give me one chance. You stood your ground, your voice firm despite the racing of your heart. You had your chances, Jungkook. You had me, and you let me wither in silence. I came only to take what's mine, nothing else. He fell to his knees, head bowed. Do you know what it feels like to breathe but not live? That's what every second without you feels like. Take my pride, take my soul, just don't take yourself away from me. You just tighten at the rawness in his tone, but you steel yourself. You move to brush past him, but as you reached for your back, his hand shot out, gripping your wrist. Let go, Chungkook, but instead of force, his grip trembled. He rose unsteadily, the alcohol evident in his breath, and before you could react, his lips pressed against yours. They didn't move, didn't claim, just lingered broken and desperate. Your eyes widened, your body stiff. It wasn't a kiss of passion, it was a kiss of pleading, of regret, of a man drowning and clutching at the only lifeline he had left. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against yours, his voice cracked. Please, Wine, one chance. I'll spend the rest of my life making this right. Don't punish me with silence, not anymore. You took a staring breath, your heart torn between fury and ache. This is your last chance, Jungkook. One mistake and I'll walk away forever. His eyes widened, sparkling with something you hadn't seen before. Hope. He sank back onto his knees, clutching her hand like it was the only thing anchoring him. I have conquered kingdoms, but I could not conquer my own pride. I had the world in my hands, yet it means nothing without you, wine. You're not a burden, you are the breath in my lungs, the reason my heart beats. I'll crawl, I'll bleed, I'll burn, if that's what it takes, just to make you mine. For the first time, goosebumps prickle your skin, not from fear of him, but from the weight of his words, and still you said nothing more because words alone would not be enough.